him in Gorakhpur just a short while ago, along with flagging off a few more Vande Bharats for this particular event. We are now going to be seeing the Prime Minister address a gathering in his home constituency as well. But before we cut across to what the Prime Minister has to say, let me get you the story that made the biggest headline today. It was about Rahul Gandhi. A comment that was made on campaign trail back in 2019 continues to be a headache for the Congress leader. It has cast a shadow on his election for the next general elections, which are less than a year away now. In March last year, remember, in March this year in fact, Surat's Chief Judicial Magistrate H.H. Verma convicted Rahul Gandhi in a criminal defamation case. The court sentenced him to 2 years of imprisonment. Today, 4 months later, Rahul Gandhi's conviction has been upheld. His petition to quash his conviction was dismissed by a single-judge bench of the Gujarat High Court. The judge, while dictating the order, observed that the petitioner is a senior leader of an oldest political party in the country. It has a large presence. The court said that Rahul Gandhi is a prominent figure in the realm of Indian political landscape and that every word, every utterance that he makes automatically gets large-scale publicity, which is why it's important that he is careful with his words. This is the second judicial setback to the former Congress president after the conviction itself. The first one was when the additional sessions judge rejected a similar plea in April this year. Now, this is not the end of the road for Rahul Gandhi or for the Congress party, but it definitely could be seen as a speed breaker in his electoral career. How does that fare for him personally, and how does it fare for the Congress party? Will this have any impact on the opposition unity in 2024? That's the question I want to open up on this debate. But before we do that, let's look at some of the facts. Let me take you through some of the most scathing observations that have been made by the court. Observation number 1 is that Rahul Gandhi seeking a stay on his conviction was based on non-existing grounds, is what the High Court observed. It then said that a stay on conviction is not a rule. As many as 10 cases are pending against Rahul Gandhi. There are several other defamation cases as well. One that was filed by Savarkar's kin is also something that the High Court observed. It then went on to say that it is needed to have purity in politics, which is why a politician making such kind of comments needs to be looked at with utter seriousness. Refusal to stay his conviction is not injustice in any manner. That is also something that the High Court came out and said. Then going on to say that there is absolutely no reasonable grounds to stay Rahul Gandhi's conviction. The High Court judge then said that Rahul's conviction is just, it's proper and it's completely legal, which is why it was upheld. The High Court, while delivering that verdict, said that as many as 10 criminal cases are pending against the applicant, which is Rahul Gandhi in this case. So before we get to that, let's cut across to Varanasi, where the Prime Minister is addressing.
माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की, हर हर महादेव। माता अन्नपूर्णा की जय, गंगा मैया की जय। उत्तर प्रदेश की राज्यपाल आनंदीबेन पटेल, मुख्यमंत्री श्रीमान योगी आदित्यनाथ जी, केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल के मेरे साथीगण, यूपी सरकार के मंत्रीगण, सांसद और विधायकगण, अलग अलग योजनाओं के सभी लाभार्थी और काशी के मेरे प्यारे भाइयों और बहनों, सावन के महीने की शुरुआत हो, बाबा विश्वनाथ और मां गंगा का आशीर्वाद हो और बनारस के लोगों का साथ हो, फिर तो जीवन बिल्कुल धन्य हो जाता है। मैं जानता हूं कि आजकल काशी के आप लोग बहुत व्यस्त हैं। काशी में रौनक जरा ज्यादा ही हो रही है आजकल। देश दुनिया से हजारों शिव भक्त यहां हर रोज बाबा को जल चढ़ाने पहुंच रहे हैं और इस बार तो सावन की अवधि भी जरा अधिक है। ऐसे में इस बार बाबा के दर्शन के लिए रिकॉर्ड संख्या में श्रद्धालुओं का आना तय है। लेकिन इन सब के साथ एक और बात तय है। अब जे भी बनारस आई तो खुश होके ही जाई। मुझे बहुत ज्यादा चिंता नहीं होती कि इतने सारे लोग आएंगे, बनारस में सब कैसे मैनेज होगा। काशी के लोग तो मुझे सिखा देते हैं, मैं उनको कोई चीज सिखा नहीं सकता हूं। अभी G20 के लिए दुनिया भर से इतने सारे लोग बनारस आए थे। काशी के लोगों ने उनका इतना भव्य स्वागत किया, इतना अच्छा प्रबंध किया कि आज पूरे दुनिया में आपकी और काशी की वाहवाही हो रही है। और इसलिए मुझे पता है काशी के लोग सब संभाल लेंगे। आप लोगों ने काशी विश्वनाथ धाम और पूरे परिसर को भी इतना भव्य बना दिया है कि जो यहां आ रहा है गदगद होकर जा रहा है। ये बाबा की इच्छा ही थी कि हम उसे पूरा करने का निमित्त बन पाए। ये हम सभी का सौभाग्य है। भाई और बहनों, आज काशी सहित उत्तर प्रदेश को लगभग 12,000 करोड़ रुपए की परियोजनाओं का उपहार मिला है। हमने जो काशी की आत्मा को बनाए रखते हुए नूतन काया का संकल्प लिया है, ये उसका विस्तार है। इनमें रेल, रोड, पानी, शिक्षा, टूरिज्म से जुड़े प्रोजेक्ट हैं, घाटों के पुनर्विकास से जुड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं। इन विकास कार्यों के लिए आप सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई। साथियों, कुछ देर पहले ही मेरी प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना और आयुष्मान भारत योजना के लाभार्थियों से बातचीत हुई। पहले की सरकारों से लोगों की सबसे बड़ी शिकायत ये थी कि वो योजनाएं एयर कंडीशन कमरों में बैठ करके बनाती थी। जमीन पर इन योजनाओं का क्या असर हो रहा है, ये तब की सरकारों को पता ही नहीं चलता था। लेकिन भाजपा सरकार ने लाभार्थियों से बात की, संवाद की, मुलाकात की, एक नई परंपरा शुरू की है। यानी बेनिफिट भी डायरेक्ट और फीडबैक भी डायरेक्ट। इसका फायदा ये हुआ कि हर सरकारी विभाग, हर अफसर अपनी जिम्मेदारी निभाने लगे। अब किसी के लिए गुणा गणित का कोई चांस ही नहीं बचा है। साथियों, जिन दलों ने अतीत में भ्रष्ट और नाकाम सरकारें चलाई, वे आज लाभार्थी का नाम सुनकर तिलमिला जाते हैं। आजादी के इतने साल बाद लोकतंत्र का सही लाभ अब सही मायने में सही लोगों तक पहुंचा है। वरना पहले लोकतंत्र के नाम पर सिर्फ गिने चुने लोगों के हित साधे जाते थे। गरीब की कोई पूछ नहीं थी। भाजपा सरकार में लाभार्थी वर्ग आज सच्चे सामाजिक न्याय और सच्चे सेक्युलरिज्म का उदाहरण बन गया है। हम पूरी ताकत लगा रहे हैं कि हर योजना के आखिरी लाभार्थी को खोजकर उस तक पहुंचकर उसे योजना का लाभ पहुंचाएं। जानते हैं इसका सबसे बड़ा लाभ क्या हो रहा है? भाई, जब सरकार खुद ही पहुंच रही है तो क्या हो रहा है? कमीशन लेने वालों की दुकान बंद, दलाली खाने वालों की दुकान बंद, घोटाले करने वालों की दुकान बंद। यानी ना कोई भेदभाव और ना ही कोई भ्रष्टाचार। साथियों, बीते 9 वर्षों में हमने सिर्फ एक परिवार और एक पीढ़ी के लिए सिर्फ योजनाएं नहीं बनाई हैं, बल्कि आने वाली पीढ़ियों का भविष्य भी सुधर जाए, इसको ध्यान में रख करके काम किया है। अब जैसे गरीबों के घर की योजना है, अभी तक देश में 4 करोड़ से अधिक परिवारों को पीएम आवास योजना के पक्के घर मिल चुके हैं। आज भी यहां यूपी के 4.5 लाख गरीब परिवारों को पक्के घर सुपुर्द किए गए हैं। सावन के महीने में महादेव की ये कितनी बड़ी कृपा हुई है। साथियों, जिन गरीबों को ये घर मिले हैं, उनकी एक बहुत बड़ी चिंता खत्म हो जाती है। सुरक्षा की भावना उनके भीतर आ जाती है। जिन्हें ये घर मिलता है, उनमें एक नया स्वाभिमान जगता है, नई ऊर्जा आती है। जब ऐसे घर में कोई बच्चा पलता है, बढ़ता है, तो उसकी आकांक्षाएं भी अलग होती है। और आपको एक बात मैं बार बार याद दिलाता हूं, पीएम आवास योजना के ये ज्यादातर घर महिलाओं के नाम पर मिल रहे हैं। आज इन घरों की कीमत कई लाख रुपए हो गई है। करोड़ों बहनें तो ऐसी हैं जिनके नाम पर पहली बार कोई प्रॉपर्टी रजिस्टर हुई है। इससे गरीब परिवारों की बहनों को जो आर्थिक सुरक्षा की गारंटी मिली है, ये वो ही जानती है। साथियों, आयुष्मान भारत योजना भी सिर्फ 5 लाख रुपए के मुफ्त इलाज तक सीमित नहीं है। इसका प्रभाव कई पीढ़ियों तक पड़ रहता है। जब गरीब परिवार में कोई गंभीर रूप से बीमार पड़ता है, तो किसी की पढ़ाई छूट जाती है, किसी को छोटी उम्र में काम करने के लिए जाना पड़ता है, पत्नी को भी रोजी रोटी के लिए निकलना पड़ता है। एक गंभीर बीमारी आई कि कई साल तक मां बाप, बच्चे बड़े हो जाएं लेकिन शादी नहीं कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि आर्थिक स्थिति बीमारी में खस्ता हाल हो जाती है। और गरीब के सामने 2 ही विकल्प होते हैं, या तो वो अपनों को अपनी आंखों के सामने जिंदगी के लिए संघर्ष करते देखे, या घर खेत बेच दे, किसी से इलाज के लिए कर्ज ले। जब प्रॉपर्टी बिकती है कर्ज का बोझ बढ़ता है तो आने वाली कई कई पीढ़ियां प्रभावित हो जाती है। आयुष्मान भारत योजना आज गरीब को इसी संकट से बचा रही है। इसलिए मैं मिशन मोड पर लाभार्थियों तक आयुष्मान कार्ड पहुंचाने के लिए इतना अधिक प्रयास कर रहा। आज भी यहां से 1,60,00,000 लाभार्थियों को आयुष्मान भारत का कार्ड बंटना शुरू हुआ है। भाइयों और बहनों, देश के संसाधनों पर वंचितों का, गरीबों का सबसे बड़ा हक होता है। पहले बैंक तक पहुंच भी सिर्फ अमीर लोगों की होती थी। गरीबों के लिए तो ये माना जाता था कि पैसा ही नहीं है तो बैंक खाते का क्या करेंगे। कुछ लोग सोचते थे कि गारंटी देने के लिए कोई नहीं है तो बैंक लोन कैसे मिल पाएगा। बीते 9 वर्षों में इस सोच को भी भाजपा सरकार ने बदल दिया। हमने बैंकों के दरवाजे सबके लिए खोल दिए। हमने करीब करीब 50 करोड़ जनधन बैंक खाते खोले। मुद्रा योजना के तहत 50,000 से लेकर 10 लाख रुपए तक के ऋण बिना गारंटी दिए। यहां यूपी में भी करोड़ों लाभार्थियों ने मुद्रा योजना का लाभ उठाकर अपना काम शुरू किया। इसमें सबसे अधिक लाभ गरीब, दलित, पिछड़े, आदिवासी, अल्पसंख्यक परिवारों से जुड़े साथियों और महिला उद्यमियों को हुआ। यही तो सामाजिक न्याय है जिसकी गारंटी भाजपा सरकार दे रही है। साथियों, हमारे रेहड़ी, ठेले, पटरी, फुटपाथ पर छोटा मोटा व्यवसाय करने वाले साथी भी अधिकतर वंचित समाज से ही आते हैं। लेकिन पहले की सरकारों ने इन साथियों को भी सिवाय अपमान और प्रताड़ना के कुछ नहीं दिया। रेहड़ी, ठेले, पटरी, फुटपाथ पर दुकान चलाने वालों को दुत्कार देता है, गाली देकर चला जाता है। लेकिन गरीब मां का बेटा मोदी इनका ये अपमान बर्दाश्त नहीं कर सकता। इसलिए मैंने रेहड़ी, ठेले, पटरी, फुटपाथ पर दुकान करने वाले के लिए पीएम स्वनिधि योजना बनाई है। हमने पीएम स्वनिधि योजना के तहत इनको भी सम्मान दिया है और बैंकों को इन्हें मदद देने को कहा है। जो पैसे पटरी वाले दुकानदारों को बैंक दे रहे हैं उसकी गारंटी भी सरकार खुद ले रही है। पीएम स्वनिधि योजना के तहत अभी तक 35 लाख से अधिक साथियों को मदद स्वीकृत की गई है। यहां बनारस में भी आज 1.25 लाख से ज्यादा लाभार्थियों को स्वनिधि योजना के तहत लोन दिए गए। इस लोन से वो अपना काम आगे बढ़ाएंगे, अपनी दुकान का विस्तार करेंगे। अब कोई उन्हें गाली नहीं दे पाएगा, उन्हें नीचा नहीं दिखा पाएगा। गरीब को स्वाभिमान, ये मोदी की गारंटी है। साथियों, जिस लोगों ने देश पर दशकों तक राज किया उनके शासन के मूल में ही बेईमानी रही। और जब ऐसा होता है तो चाहे कितना भी धन इकट्ठा हो तो कम ही पड़ता है। 2014 से पहले भ्रष्टाचारी और परिवारवादियों की सरकारों के दौरान ऐसा ही कारोबार चलता था। बजट तो घाटे का, नुकसान का ही बहाना होता था। आज गरीब कल्याण हो या फिर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, बजट की कोई कमी नहीं है। वही कर देता है, वही सिस्टम है, लेकिन सरकार बदली है, नीयत बदली है तो परिणाम भी बदले दिख रहे हैं। पहले करप्शन और कालाबाजारी खबरों से अखबार भरे रहते थे। अब नए प्रोजेक्ट के शिलान्यास और लोकार्पण की खबरें अखबारों में छाई रहती है। बीते 9 वर्षों में आए परिवर्तन का सबसे बड़ा उदाहरण भारतीय रेल है। ईस्टर्न डेडिकेटेड फ्रेट कॉरिडोर, यानी मालगाड़ियों के लिए विशेष पटरियों की योजना 2006 में शुरू हुई थी, लेकिन 2014 तक 1 किलोमीटर ट्रैक भी नहीं बीत पाया था। 1 किलोमीटर भी नहीं। पिछले 9 वर्षों में इसका एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा पूरा हो चुका है। इस पर मालगाड़ियां चलना शुरू कर चुकी है। आज भी दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जंक्शन से न्यू सोननगर खंड का लोकार्पण किया गया है। इसे मालगाड़ियों की स्पीड तो बढ़ेगी, पूर्वांचल में, पूरी भारत में रोजगार के अनेक नए अवसर बनेंगे। साथियों, जब नीयत साफ होती है तो कैसे काम होता है, इसका एक और उदाहरण मैं देता हूं। देश में तेज रफ्तार ट्रेनें चले, देश हमेशा ये चाहता था। इसके लिए पहली बार देश में करीब 50 साल पहले राजधानी एक्सप्रेस की शुरुआत हुई। राजधानी एक्सप्रेस चलाई गई, लेकिन इतने साल में भी ये राजधानी एक्सप्रेस सिर्फ 16 रूटों में ही चल पाई है। 50 साल हो गए, सिर्फ 16 रूट। इसी तरह 30-35 साल पहले शताब्दी चल पड़ी, लेकिन शताब्दी ट्रेन भी 30-35 साल में अब तक 19 रूटों पर ही सेवा दे रही है। इन ट्रेनों से अलग एक वंदे भारत एक्सप्रेस है, और बनारस के पास तो देश की पहली वंदे भारत का खिताब है। 4 साल में ये ट्रेन 25 रूट पर चलनी शुरू हो चुकी है। आज भी गोरखपुर से 2 नई वंदे भारत एक्सप्रेस को हरी झंडी दिखाई गई है। एक ट्रेन गोरखपुर से लखनऊ के लिए चली है और दूसरी अहमदाबाद से जोधपुर रूट पर चली है। देश के मध्यम वर्ग में ये वंदे भारत इतनी सुपरहिट हो गई है कि कोने कोने से इसके लिए डिमांड आ रही है। वो दिन दूर नहीं जब वंदे भारत देश के कोने कोने को कनेक्ट करेगी। भाइयों और बहनों, बीते 9 वर्षों में काशी की कनेक्टिविटी को भी बेहतर करने के लिए अभूतपूर्व काम हुआ है। यहां जो विकास कार्य हो रहे हैं वो रोजगार के अनेकों नए अवसर भी बना रहे हैं। अब जैसे पिछले वर्ष काशी में 7 करोड़ से ज्यादा पर्यटक और श्रद्धालु आए थे। सिर्फ 1 साल में काशी आने वाले पर्यटकों की संख्या में 12 गुना बढ़ोतरी हुई। 12 गुना पर्यटक बढ़े हैं, तो इसका सीधा लाभ यहां के रिक्शा वाले को हुआ है, दुकानदारों को हुआ है, ढाबा होटल चलाने वाले साथियों को हुआ है, बनारसी साड़ी का काम करने वाले हो या फिर बनारसी पान वाले मेरे भाई, सभी को इससे बहुत फायदा हो रहा है। पर्यटक बढ़ने का बहुत बड़ा लाभ हमारे नाव चलाने वाले साथियों को हुआ है। शाम को जो गंगा आरती होती है उस समय नावों पर कितनी भीड़ होती है, ये देख मैं भी हैरत में पड़ जाता हूं। आप लोग ऐसे ही बनारस को संभाले रहिए। साथियों, बाबा के आशीर्वाद से वाराणसी के तेज विकास की यात्रा चलती रहेगी। और मैं एक बार काशी वासियों का और भी धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं। पिछले दिनों काशी में नगर निगम के चुनाव हुए थे। आप सबने विकास की यात्रा को समर्थन किया, विकास में विश्वास करने वालों को जिता करके भेज दिया और काशी में एक अच्छा व्यवस्था खड़ी करने की दिशा में आप लोगों ने जो सहयोग दिया, तो काशी के सांसद के नाते आप सबके इस सहयोग के लिए मैं आज जब आपके बीच आया हूं तो हृदय से आपका आभार भी व्यक्त करता हूं। एक बार फिर आप सभी को विकास कार्यों की बहुत बहुत बधाई और पवित्र सावन मास के अवसर पर आप सबको अनेक अनेक शुभकामनाएं। हर हर
धन्यवाद माननीय प्रधानमंत्री महोदय। आपके बहुमूल्य सुझावों और आशीर्वचनों से हम कृतार्थ हुए। आपका शुभागमन हमारे अंदर नई ऊर्जा का संचार करता है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय प्रधान।
That was the Prime Minister there in Varanasi, his home constituency, highlighting all that has been done, not just for that constituency, but for this entire country, for the state of Uttar Pradesh. The big infrastructure push, the big push for connectivity in the state of Uttar Pradesh is something that the Prime Minister highlighted. It is his blitzkrieg in Uttar Pradesh today. He is going to be moving on to two other states of Rajasthan and Telangana tomorrow. With that, we're slipping into a quick break here on this edition of Plain Speak. Lots more lined up for you on the other side. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Plain Speak and I'm Poonam Borde. The big headline today was about Rahul Gandhi getting his third judicial setback. He still remains disqualified as a member of parliament from the Lok Sabha. He also is a convicted leader of the Congress party now as far as the defamation suit goes. Remember, he was handed out the maximum punishment for a defamation suit, that is of 2 years, not too long ago, in fact in March this year. Since then, he appealed in the Sessions Court. He then went to the High Court of Gujarat, both of whom said that there is no merit in the arguments that Rahul Gandhi is making and he should have a higher standard of the language he uses, because the kind of language he used not only defames one particular person but an entire community. Which is why this is going to have great impact on Rahul Gandhi, the Congress party, perhaps on the opposition unity for 2024 as well. Is this something of a temporary hiccup that we're looking at, or is this something much bigger than that? It's definitely not the end of the road for Rahul Gandhi. He does have legal recourse. He can approach the Supreme Court next, which is perhaps what he would be doing next week, is what we're learning from within the Congress. But this particular judgment has triggered a bitter war of words, with the Congress claiming that this judgment is wrong. It is nothing but political witch hunt and vendetta ahead of election season, to which the BJP says that this is nothing but law catching up.
एक छोटा सा सवाल, सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे.
इस पूरे कार्रवाई का एक अभिन्न अंग है द्वेष, मैलिस. न इस निर्णय ने न पहले निर्णय ने किसी रूप से आपको बताया कि कैसे और कहां से द्वेष आता है.
उनको माफी मांगना चाहिए था, लेकिन माफी मांगना तो उनकी फितरत में नहीं है. सेशन कोर्ट ने उनको बेल तो दे दिया, लेकिन कन्विक्शन को स्टे नहीं किया.
Joining me on this broadcast is spokesperson of the BJP, Anila Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, Mahima Singh, will be joining us shortly. But I want to begin by asking the first question to Satyaki Savarkar, who's the grandnephew of Veer Savarkar. And I want to start by asking him, because this is something that came up in the court today. It was one of the things that the High Court judge did talk about. And Mr. Savarkar, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Today, if you would have followed what has transpired in the Gujarat High Court, not only did they refuse to stay Rahul Gandhi's conviction, but the judge brought up your case as well. How do you look at that?
Well, I must say that if High Court has given its decision, Honorable High Court has given its decision, then we must respect that decision. And it is proved that Rahul Gandhi has made a defamatory statements. If Honorable High Court has brought up my case as an example, then it is underlined that Rahul Gandhi is committing the same mistake often, and I thank Honorable High Court for their decision on this.
Right. Do you think that this is something that could be used as precedent as far as your case goes? Or do you think this gives you a leg up when your case does come up for hearing?
Definitely, yes. Because this case, the case which is undergoing and Honorable High Court has given its verdict, is really important when it comes to a case of defamation. Because my case is similar, on the similar lines, and I have filed a complaint about defamation itself. So I can use the ongoing case as a reference or as a basis to my case.
Sure, but Rahul Gandhi and his legal team, the Congress party, they've all been saying that the comments that he's made against Vinayak Damodar Savarkar are not defamatory in nature. In fact, it is the truth that Savarkar did apologize to the British. So then what's the big deal is what they ask.
Well, isn't it not defamatory to comment on the incident which has never happened, which never took place? Is it not defamatory to call a patriot and defame him, stating that he apologized? The fact is that he wrote petitions which are called as clemency petitions and not mercy petition. So Congress and their circle has been continuously defaming Savarkar. Rahul Gandhi is also a part of it, and it is a fact that they are defamatory. These remarks are definitely defamatory, and hence I have approached the Honorable High Court.
Sure, Mr. Savarkar, do stay on with me. I have Mahima Singh of the Congress party joining us on this broadcast. KV Dhananjay, senior advocate, also with us on this. And Anila Singh, of course, continues to be with us. But Mahima Singh, I want to ask you, this is the third setback that has come to the fore, judicially speaking, second in terms of review for Rahul Gandhi and for the Congress party. How do you look at this? Is it because perhaps the courts are not finding merit in the arguments you're making? Is it just that the legal case is not being mounted properly, or that the case doesn't have any legs to stand on in the first place?
Well, before I go on to my points, let me just say this couplet by Murtaza Barlas that becomes very relevant today. मुझे की गई है ये पेशकश कि सजा में होंगी रियायतें जो कसूर मैंने किया नहीं वो कबूल कर लूं दबाव में. So that is the state of affairs today. You say that this is a setback to the Congress. I say that it is a setback to the BJP. Every time they try to strangulate the voice of the people of this country, it is quite a setback for them, because you see the highlights of today's judgments as emphasized upon by our luminary, our legal luminary and leader, Mr. Singhvi, in his press conference, begin, so on and so forth. He's the first point that he makes is that it is as if the 1.5 sentences spoken by Mr. Rahul Gandhi in that speech, which was almost a 3-page long speech, it is sounding as if this is the most heinous offense that has been committed in this country recently, which is not the case. In para 45 of the judgment, the judges talk about moral turpitude. We know how moral turpitude is defined in the legal structure, in the judicial structure and legal jurisprudence. By the way, the legal jurisprudence and the weakness of the same in this verdict is to be emphasized upon, and that's been done by our leader, Mr. Singhvi. Also, he has emphasized upon the delay of 66 days. 2nd May was the final hearing. We hear the verdict today, and that too, it started in the morning, 10:30. It will come out. It came out finally at 3:15 around. And
no, the order came out in the morning. The judgment was pronounced in the morning. The final order copy was uploaded at 3:30. But go ahead.
Finally it came in the public domain much later during the day. So the point here is that you see the legal jurisprudence, the delay of 66 days, the unanswered, the perpetually unanswered core legal questions. For example, none of the complainants has been able to show how have they been defamed. They have not been able to show what are the damages caused to them by virtue of this judgment. They have not been able to show what is the malice in Mr. Rahul Gandhi's speech therein. Because I will now come to a very relevant point. This is an orchestrated series of complaints happening across, and you keep on talking about, and everybody in the media keeps on talking about the many complaints against him. And I might as well remind everybody on the panel and in the media about, of the current CJI is concerned that he's raised time and again about media trials. He said it earlier also, that let's not talk about when somebody is accused, they are accused and they are innocent until proven guilty.
Yes,
and that's
but in this case, Rahul Gandhi is convicted. That conviction was upheld today.
All right. In this one case, and you keep on saying that so many other cases are going on against him.
That's because it came up in court, ma'am. I'm not making it up. That's something that was observed in court today by the judge.
He is accused by BJP workers and office bearers in a series of orchestrated political campaigns, that We are
Sure.
seeing.
So let's keep those
because-
10 cases or the 9 cases aside. Let's talk about this case in which he has been convicted, a conviction that has been upheld by a third court today.
Right. All right. Let's come to para 63 now, which has also been emphasized upon in today's press conference, which talks about the Savarkar comment, which is a fact that was neither impleaded nor argued before the court of law. It was just moved before the court of law right at the stage of final hearing. No chance was given to the accused side to make their contentions on it. And here we have a para 63, which becomes a very relevant part of this judgment. And that's what, in the Supreme Court, another very important emphasis by Mr. Singhvi today, in the Supreme Court, a very important principle that we practice is that an error perpetuated thrice or more needs correction all the more. So you say that this is a setback thrice. The Supreme Court says that an error perpetuated thrice or more needs the correction all the more. So wait and watch. We are going to move to the apex court. And
Absolutely. And like I pointed out right at the beginning, this is not the end of the road at all for Rahul Gandhi or for Congress party. He has the legal recourse. He's well within his rights to move the Supreme Court, and that's the next step. But as far as the commentary that came to the fore, the observations that came to the fore from the High Court, Anila Singh, the Congress says that the petitioner hasn't been able to point out exactly what defamatory comment was made, how it hurt that particular petitioner's emotions or the community. And yet we have the High Court today, the High Court judge go on to say that Gandhi's offence increases since not one individual but an entire community has been defamed. It's not what the petitioner or me here on CNN News 18 is saying. It's what a High Court judge said.
My Ram to everyone, and I was listening to Congress Party spokesperson Ms. Mahima Singh, and she was in very clear words saying that judicial system is not working properly, and she very well said, very categorically said that the judge, he didn't do his work properly, so they are going to appeal in Supreme Court. So they are more than welcome to do that. But madam, it is not correct that you are simply saying that the judge was somehow the judge was biased. That is absolutely incorrect. The reality is that Nehru unwittingly laid the foundations of India's misery. Okay, India's misery. Sadly, his dynasty reinforced those blighted foundations, and the whole of the country is facing the wrath of that, because India has faced 3 wraths: 1 from the Islamic invaders, 2 from the Britishers, 3 from the Congress. Now the high time is that we have to show them the mirror, and Indian citizens are doing that. If we talk about Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a habitual offender. More than 5 cases, I think 5 cases of defame is on him. What Ms. Mahima Singh has to say about that? He is one person who loves to insult others. If we talk about Modi's surname, we know it very well. It is about the OBC caste and also those who are not OBC. So you have taken everybody with the surname Modi under one umbrella, and you have humiliated. Sare Modi chor hote hain. What do you want to say? What you have to say about your surname? Do you really deserve this surname, Gandhi? Do you think that somehow in any way, in a minuscule way also, you can justify this surname of yours, Gandhi? And you are pointing fingers towards others' surname. You are defaming them. And then you are saying, मैं माफी नहीं मांगूंगा. मैंने कोई गलती नहीं करी है. Just like a spoiled brat. Why? Because these people love to do mental slavery. They are here to do mental slavery. हाँ, बिल्कुल ठीक राहुल बाबा. आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा. You are absolutely correct. When you are humiliating Modi, you are humiliating each and every person who has surname of Modi. If you are humiliating RSS, good enough, very good. Do it once again, once more. This is what Congress Party and its workers keep on doing. That is why Rahul Gandhi thinks that whatever he is saying, whatever he is doing, that is fantastic. That is not fantastic. And Ms. Mahima Singh is humiliating the judge as well. She is saying that judgment is totally biased. So we are going to appeal to Superior Court.
But they're well within their rights to do so, Anila Singh. They have legal recourse. So Rahul Gandhi and the Congress Party and his legal team can go to the Supreme Court, which is what they aim to do. But Mahima Singh, go ahead before I get in Mr. Dhananjay as well.
They can do that without humiliating. They can do that without without humiliating judge who has given this verdict.
Sure.
They can go ahead. They
Sure,
can,
you made your Sanjay as well. You had a rebuttal to make. Go ahead.
You see, the BJP spokesperson has just emphasized upon 2 points here. She talks about Mr. Rahul Gandhi being a habitual offender. Also, she has reiterated the statement very wrongly, and she's on to the business of manipulating statements and words here, as she's also manipulating my words and misquoting me. And she can go back to the when she uses the word categorically, I've said either she must refer to the dictionary for the meaning of the word categorically, or she must refer to my statements that I've made on this show. But let me just start with the second statement. She is saying Sare Modi chor hote hain. She and the entire BJP must listen again to that phrase that Mr. Gandhi has used. He has said इन सब चोरों का सरनेम मोदी क्यों है और अभी ढूंढने निकलेंगे तो और मिल जाएंगे. Mr. Gandhi was clearly talking about political favoritism there. इन सारे चोरों का नाम मोदी क्यों है और सारे मोदी चोर होते हैं में जमीन आसमान का अंतर है. मैडम, मिसकोट करना, जनता को बरगलाना बंद कर दे. Secondly, she is talking about being habitual offender. Just now, if she would have heard me carefully, just now I said that he's only accused, and I also quoted the CJI, Honorable CJI, saying that media trials must be avoided, and that's what she's doing by calling Mr. Gandhi a habitual offender. When has he been convicted earlier? And I have emphasized upon the legal principle of being innocent until proven guilty.
Sure.
I can go and file multiple complaints against the BJP spokesperson sitting here. Does that make her an habitual offender? Just today, Karnataka High Court has quashed an FIR against a school where a play was being conducted, and there was an FIR again by the BJP workers and office bearers, which said that it was seditious. And the High Court set it aside and said, no, let's quash this FIR because the remarks made against the Prime Minister are not seditious. They may be derogatory, but that doesn't call for this FIR.
Sure.
He also
so then are we looking at outcomes of certain cases as per our convenience? That's also the bigger question that needs to be asked. But I want to get in Senior Advocate KV Dhananjay as well, as far as what we've seen in court today, Mr. Dhananjay. And not just today, the original conviction that came to the fore, the Sessions Court verdict that came to the fore after that, which upheld that conviction. And today the High Court also going on to say that there has to be a higher sense of morality, of a high moral ground that needs to be taken by certain people who are in public space, as would a member of parliament would have to behave. Should we not then have those kind of high standards for the representatives of people in this country? Or do you think the court has perhaps...
Well, I find this whole... I find this very proceeding is a complete legal nonsense to start with. And you might ask, okay, fine, how would I be entitled to even say anything about cases of defamation? Incidentally, I happen to deal with the defamation cases. On the civil side, I deal with cases running into several hundred crores. On the criminal side, there was this, again, I have no political affiliation. I'm in fact representing a Congress MLA in a civil defamation suit. And so far as the criminal defamation is concerned, there was this contractor association president who was sued by a BJP MLA on criminal defamation. Our office got the summons quashed. So I might know something about defamation, and from whatever little I know, I can say that's sheer nonsense, all that is happening now. In defamation cases, you have a person who makes a statement, you have a person against whom a statement is made, but these two individuals don't complete the crime of defamation. For defamation, the most important thing is that you must have an audience, a third person. Now that audience can't be just any idiot. That audience has to be a reasonable and a right-thinking member of the society.
Sure.
Now in this whole proceedings, what the courts have actually done is to turn the whole law of defamation upside down, because they have actually taken the audience to be a complete idiot. It will take a complete idiot who would say, I had great respect for people carrying Modi surnames. One, Mr. Rahul Gandhi made a 2-line speech in Kolar. I no longer respect people with Modi surname. Now, a sentiment like that could only come from a complete idiot, and all that the courts have done so far is to, in fact, honor that. So this is actually a complete travesty, and I don't care about Mr. Rahul Gandhi. And by the way, just to offer a small correction, his appeal is pending before a sessions court in Surat. So this was not his appeal being, dismissed. He wanted a stay on the conviction.
His conviction, yes.
And the question that naturally arises is, why did he really want to stay on the conviction? Because the trial court sentenced him to 2 years. and he was required to be in jail serving that sentence. So when he did file an appeal before the Sessions Court in Surat, the Surat court said, we are granting you bail. You could be a free man for the length of this appeal. So he's a free man already. He had come to the Gujarat High Court asking for a stay on conviction.
Yes.
Because he was sentenced for 2 years of imprisonment. He ran disqualification under the Prevention of Corruption Act, under the Representation of People Act of 1951.
Yes.
And I'm surprised that the Gujarat High Court, actually, after having been informed about various instances where far more serious crimes, people who are convicted, their conviction was stayed so that they will not incur an irreversible consequence. So at the end of the day, the Gujarat High Court was not deciding on the appeal itself. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is entitled to say that because he's filed an appeal, he may very well be acquitted in that appeal. Now, there are irreversible consequences if that seat, Wayanad seat, is taken away from him, because the Election Commission is bound to now announce and by poll to that seat very shortly.
Yes.
And for this reason, I believe that the East legal team would be going to the Supreme Court. Having said that much, I am really startled at another lapse on the part of the Rahul Gandhi side itself. We have something called Section 360 of the Criminal Procedure Code that says, look, the policy is not to put people behind bars. Immediately is charged with an offense of 7 years, which carries imprisonment of 7 years or less. And if he is convicted, please don't sentence him to any particular term. If that was the first time that he was being convicted, please actually put him on probation.
Yes.
Please ask him to show good conduct and send him away. Don't impose any particular sentence on him. This is the law in this country. Mr. Rahul Gandhi's legal team, what were they doing? I do not know. At some level, I also even wonder if Mr. Rahul Gandhi wanted to be convicted just so that he would become more relevant, because
Which is why when I opened this up, I asked the Congress spokesperson that are there holes in the Congress's legal strategy here, or does the case not have any legs at all? That's also the question many are asking as far as the legal strategy of Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party goes. But he does have legal recourse. He can now move the Supreme Court. We are expecting that to happen sometime next week. What transpires in the highest court of this country, whether there is relief coming to the fore for Rahul Gandhi or not, because the next general elections are not too far away, less than a year in fact. So this could have ramifications not just for the Wayanad seat, but for the Congress party and 2024 as well. It could have repercussions for the BJP as well, whichever way this goes. Unfortunately, I'm out of time and I have to leave it at that. But I thank you all for joining us here on this broadcast of Plain Speak. We are shifting focus now to some breaking news that's in fact coming in. And this is over the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia and the excise policy alleged scam in the national capital. Now we're learning that assets worth 7.29 crore rupees belonging to Manish Sisodia and his wife have now been attached by the Enforcement Directorate. That's the big development that has come to the fore. Remember, Manish Sisodia has been in jail. His bail has been denied on multiple counts. Now we're given to understand that the Enforcement Directorate in its investigation has moved forward and attached properties of not just Manish Sisodia but of his family members as well. Ashish Mershi, my colleague, getting us more details. Yes, Ashish.
So, as of now, around 128.78 crore rupees of assets have been attached till now. Today's news is that around 44.29 crore rupees of attachment has been done, which includes the owner of Rajesh Joshi, who is the owner of Chariot Productions Media Private Limited, Gautam Malhotra, and various other individuals. But the highlight of this attachment is that around assets worth of around 7.29 crore rupees belonging to Manish Sisodia and his wife Seema Sisodia have been attached by the Enforcement Directorate. So this is a big step because he was the Chief Minister of Delhi and he was holding a number of portfolios in Delhi. But allegedly he's been involved into the liquor scam. He was first arrested by CBI and subsequently by ED as well, and then he was sent to judicial custody. Now, interestingly, the man, if you see yesterday as well, an individual who basically turned out as an approver, Dinesh Arora, before the CBI, he was also arrested and he has been granted police custody to the Enforcement Directorate. Now, interestingly, the man who turned approver for CBI has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. So, big happening in the liquor scam as of now. But the highlight of this entire story is attachment of assets of Manish Sisodia and his wife Seema Sisodia.
Right, Ashish, thank you so much for getting us those details on that. The Enforcement Directorate has in fact attached assets worth 52 crore rupees up until now, not just of Manish Sisodia but of several other accused in the excise policy case. Remember, Manish Sisodia was accused number one as far as this entire alleged scam goes. His bail has been rejected. There were some scathing allegations, scathing observations, I beg your pardon, that came to the fore from the Delhi High Court just last week. when his bail was denied. It's all political is what the Aam Aadmi Party has been saying, but unfortunately judicially there is no relief that has come to the fore for Manish Sisodia just yet. That's all we could pack in for you in this edition of Plain Speak. It's a wrap from my side. Anand Narasimhan joins you next.
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a special edition. We'll cover 3 aspects, all pertaining to Bharat and of course the social strife and tribulation, starting with the